But this also means that other people are going to judge our behavior relative to others that they know. So when we do something, people are going to evaluate what we've done with reference to what other people have done. Right? So if you, and where I normally see this, some of my example where I normally see this is in gendered behavior. If you've ever had a situation where you feel that someone of the other gender has judged you inappropriately, right? Where you are, I don't know, a good example here for this that doesn't reveal too much. You text one of your friends and you've had your 2 beers and you say something to them like, hey, I'd really love to see you tonight. And you're trying to figure out how bad is that on the scale.
Do they know you've been drinking?
Yeah, let's say no. Right? So you're, and let's say you don't just say, I'd really love to see you tonight, you also winky face it or whatever. Uh-oh, now. What?
That was an issue.
So you could think it's one issue if you're just looking at you, but what if you discovered that all your friends were doing that, just you didn't know it? Would that change how you viewed your behavior?
Wait, that's what I did?
Like what if you discovered that all your friends are secretly sending each other, like not all of them obviously, but you discover that is actually a very common thing to have happen, where you receive a text where people receive messages after a couple of beers, and you discover that, oh, you know, that's common. Would that change how you felt about your behavior?
I don't know.
I think it's really, I mean,
I feel like the more common something is, the better I feel about it.
Yeah, you feel less embarrassed.
Yeah, so I mean, this is normal, so whatever.
wait, why are we embarrassed? Are we embarrassed because they turned us down, or
you felt that way, but you didn't really want them to know for some reason. Y'all never had that happen?
No.
Give me an example that y'all have had happen then. So what is like a gendered behavior here?
Look at if a woman says she slept with 20 people and a man says he slept with 20 people. I mean, that's classic.
Okay,
Or
Yeah.
and
No.
Rico Suave. I mean,
What the
I mean, but that is. I mean, you look at that and it's a totally different set of rules.
This is having too many people on both ends.
Yeah,
That's
it's a little high.
Right.
But
I'm
then if your
just-
friends slept with 20 people, it makes you feel a little bit better.
Okay, for the sake of this discussion, we're going to pick the number 20 because I was in that movie as well, right? Right? So whatever your number is, you might feel good or bad. If you go, oh well, relative, you're doing it as a relative. I have a friend who is upset because she's just got divorced and she's upset that her number's too low. She will regularly bring this up in conversation. She's like, I don't feel like I've had enough experience.
Does she have low self-esteem?
No, she has very fine self-esteem. She's like, I feel like, because I think her number was 1 or 2, I don't remember what it was.
That's good. For her to be
What?
What'd you comparing that in the first place?
I don't know
I think it
why.
also has to do with the amount of time that you do it within. Like, if you sleep with, like, 3 people within a week compared to 3 people within, like, your whole high school.
So that's actually a good example. So you're able to do what? So you're basically saying the number isn't the number, it's
It's the time.
it's time, and so you're able to do whatever to sort of make yourself
Feel better.
feel better. And that's the sort of, that's why I'm having this gendered interactions where I see this a lot, where I sometimes feel that I get judged because of what other males have done and what they've said, and I'm like, whoa, I did not mean that at all. Like, so I give a, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember the example I used for our personality class, where I was talking with someone, and I'll think of it and give it to y'all to come here in a second. Where I said something that I thought was very innocuous, and the person thought I was rather creepy, and I'm like, why is this
Oh, yeah, you
person?
mentioned something about a girl's hair. You said her hair was pretty. She like how hair.
No, it was the one right after that. We were having a conversation, and she thought I was being controlling. I don't remember.
People get traumatized.
Yeah, people do get traumatized. Yeah, that's what really happened is they had been in a previous relationship where the person had expected them to call them every hour. And I remember what it was. Like I was bothered because I would text someone, we'd be in the middle of a conversation, and then they would stop texting. Like not like hey, I gotta go. I'm like, that kind of bothers me. And this one person was like, yeah, that is controlling and creepy because her boyfriend would want her to do that. And I was like, no, it would just be like I would say something like, when are we gonna go out again? And then it would be like gone. Yeah. Yeah. But when I just said, I hate when people do that, they interpret it as, the other guys that she had dated, this one particular girl interpreted that as, oh, you're basically saying you can't just leave conversation. I'm like, no. Has that ever happened to anybody but me? Okay.
Rather annoying.
Yeah. Anyway, so, some other biases that we use when we're judging ourselves relative to others. There's something known as the false consensus effect. And the false consensus effect is take whatever bad traits you think you have. And one of the things you can do to make yourself feel better about these bad traits is go, everyone does it. Right? Let's see. If you feel bad about speeding, I don't feel bad about speeding. I wouldn't tell you. I think our speed limit laws are artificially set too low to catch speeders. So I will tell you, I speed regularly. I am of the speed limit +9 family.
That's it.
That's not really speeding, is it?
Oh, that's not speeding. We thought you meant something else. No, my uncle, when he taught me how to drive, his entire training consisted of how to avoid getting caught speeding. Like literally, his entire training consisted of that. All right, so let's say you are at a party and you're doing keg stands. I don't know. This is actually from one of the textbooks I use, and I'm like, I don't know why they even have a picture in the book, but okay. So what?
Just in case I don't know what a keg stand is.
Yeah, just in case I don't know what a keg stand is. So you're feeling bad about this behavior. What could you do to make yourself feel better about this?
Well, she's taking good.
Yeah. You might think most people do, right?
At least one.
What? Well, yeah, or you might say, oh, everybody does this at least once, or everyone has done something they're embarrassed about, right? So you even generalize it, but what you've basically done is you've taken whatever unusual or undesirable trait and said, well, everyone does it. So you miss work. Everyone misses sometimes. You have more than your share of whatever substance y'all enjoy doing. Doesn't everyone happen? Doesn't that happen to everyone? See what you can do? You can basically make yourself feel better. Let's see if we can think of what the flip side of this would be. If the false consensus effect is that your bad traits are common, what's another way you can make yourself feel good? What?
That your good traits aren't shared by anybody.
That your good traits aren't shared, and we call this the false uniqueness effect. I mean, the false uniqueness effect is the tendency to underestimate the commonality of your desirable traits. So think about how this works. It's you might say everyone waits till the night before a test to study, right? So you're not bad, and besides, I actually attend class. See what I've done? See how awesome I am? Let's see some other ones here that might affect y'all. Everyone pays their bills late, right? I actually don't. I actually pay mine the very first of the month because I had this real paranoia about my power going out.
You have 3 months.
Just like,
She's right about that.
Yep.
She's right about that.
Yes.
it's 3 months.
Wait, do you have 3 months overdue, or do you have
3
3 months
months.
you can get for free?
You have 3 months overdue until your disconnection notice.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can make payment arrangements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's awesome. I didn't know that. Because you still have to pay the money you owe, I figure.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Especially if you don't have it that month. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I'm a little too scared of the disconnect notices. I'm like, they're going to do it immediately.
No. Sometimes it goes 30 days after your disconnect notice too.
Y'all are helping me out
I want to
here.
say it's not every, I forgot one time, and they cut off to say so don't trust that all the time, yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't trust that. I mean, I pay, and I get freaked out about
I make sure I'm in the range.
Okay, so if you're saying, so everyone pays their bills late, that may be something you think, I'm not a bad, I'm not irresponsible, or I'm not anything negative, because everyone does it. What might be a false uniqueness in this? Well, I gave money to charity, or I tithed the right amount, or whatever thing you use to make yourself feel better. It's amazing. So, can we ever really get a real sense of who we really are? How would you get this?
Think of a value.
Yeah, but okay, but any value you have, you can always use upward or downward social comparison. Or let's say we're going to go, you are a bad, let's have, you're a bad person. You're probably not going to believe me for many, many reasons. One, I don't think you're actually a bad person. But you could also do social comparisons to go, oh, look, I'm better than, I'm doing better than over here. My good traits are rare. And the things I don't like about you are really, really common.
I mean, I would first ask you, what's your criteria for doing that?
You
It's
raise
not-
your voice a lot. That's what I just picked that one off the top of my head. So you raise your voice a lot, right? So you could always go, well, I know people yell all the time.
I would say that's part of my culture.
So yeah, it's part of your culture. Okay, so you would argue it's a part of my culture to yell all the time. That's totally fine. I have friends who, if you're not yelling at them, they don't think you like them anymore. They do. If you're not raising your voice, they're not paying attention. I'm serious, a heart attack, and it makes me feel uncomfortable. But that's for them what they love. Or if you're not talking over them either. What? Sound like your kids?
I was like, nah, that's some kinky stuff. Like, it's kind of-
No, not in that way, man. Why you gotta take it there?
But it sounds kind of weird. Yell at me so I know you love me.
No, not yell at me. They don't say yell at me so you know that you love me. That's just in their family. That's what they do. They yell.
Passionate.
They're just passionate. I mean, I don't like it either.
I don't like to yell.
But if I were to judge them, they might say, well, we don't do it as much as others, and it's very common, right? So notice that, any criticism could be water off a duck's back. I actually don't know if water goes off a duck's back now that I use that metaphor. I don't know what bootstraps are or what it does. I'll give you one way this shows out, and since this is that time of year, evaluations. I get asked to write letters of recommendation, and I hate them. The part I hate the most is I will get something and it'll be like, rate this person's independence, right? So it'll be like independence, and then it'll be like top 5, top 10, top 25, top 50%. Right? Okay, independent or no basis is one of the options usually. All right, so how am I supposed to know?
How independent I am.
Because this is the real problem. If I go, well, they're not really, I sometimes have. I mean, how do I even judge this trait? I think one of the funniest I ever had to do was stability. How stable is this person? It was a student, so I didn't know them. I was outside of class, and I was like, well, they don't throw things at me in class. I mean, that's probably a good trait. But if you answer honestly, and you use the whole scale, but let's say I go, well, they're definitely in the top 50.
That looks bad.
It looks bad. But if everybody's putting top 5, then the scale becomes meaningless. So now I have to give you an evaluation, and I hate these. But I can't put no basis to judge for all of them. It's really hard. And this is actually really, really nice. Everyone graduated. I went to a high school graduation recently, and people were getting like 6.7 GPAs.
What?
Yeah, I couldn't even figure out how this was happening.
It's the AP scale.